visit, but also your first-class business location? We are centrally located in Europe and we have the world's best infrastructure. Oh, and the train is always on time, so let's take a journey. Did you know that Switzerland has 4 official languages? Ja? No? Forse? Decidia? Don't worry, we also have excellent English skills. However, we don't spend all day chatting. We love to work. In 2012, we could have voted for longer holidays, and we voted against them. It's crazy, isn't it? But we're not crazy. Our economy and government are among the world's most stable. That, combined with our outstanding talent pool and a deregulated labor market, makes Switzerland the most innovative and competitive nation in the world. Our Swiss dual education system provides an excellent mix of both vocational education and apprenticeships. Now let's take a look at industry. Maybe Germany, the United States, and China are well known for their industrial output. But did you know that Swiss industrial production per capita beats all of them? Sorry, guys. Our country is small, but hey, 3 Swiss companies are among the global top 20 most valuable companies. Furthermore, we offer the best quality of life. That's why 3 Swiss cities are among the world's best for the highest quality of living. In addition, Switzerland is one of the happiest nations on the globe. Perhaps because we eat on average 12 kilograms of chocolate per year? Switzerland is the best location for innovation, has stable political, economic, and financial conditions, has the highest living standard, and welcomes your business. So tell us now, when will you invest in Switzerland? Switzerland Global Enterprise, enabling new business. Find out more at s-ge.com.
For us in the Aditya Birla Group, Odisha has been one of our most preferred investment destinations. Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik's exceptional leadership has been the singular factor in the rapid progress of Odisha. The state government has leveraged its competitive advantages, including its progressive policies and governance framework, are a big pull factor.
Welcome you to Odisha. Come, join the juggernaut.
In healthcare, a vast ecosystem is helping therapy innovators become more patient-centric and more effective than ever before. Cytiva supports researchers, biopharma, and clinicians in the pursuit of more targeted treatments. In discovery, speed and accuracy are everything. The faster and smarter researchers can work, the more patients benefit. To ensure that new, more targeted therapies become reality, we're equipping biomanufacturers with the tools and expertise they need to produce cost-effectively and quickly. How can tens of thousands of individualized patient doses be manufactured quickly, efficiently, and securely? The answer, with a healthy dose of expertise and innovation. We're creating processes and solutions that are scalable and address complex needs. We work to deliver diagnostic tools and other technologies to bring the right therapy to the right patient at the right time, so that life-saving medicines come within the reach of more people and could save more lives. Cell culture, protein purification, biomarker imaging, and analysis. It may not be what most think about when envisioning the future of healthcare, but this is what we do. Our part in changing the world. Advancing and accelerating. Discovery, manufacturing, diagnostics, future therapeutics.
to regulatory compliance is long and filled with choices. With a combination of standards, process, and service, USP can help guide your path to compliant, quality products. Trust the standard that sets the benchmark for medicines. Our robust and collaborative scientific process is part of our comprehensive approach. We offer reference standards that are tied to USP monographs to help you minimize risk and enhance your confidence in compliance. Reduce time and resources spent developing in-house standards and streamline your path to regulatory compliance. We work with independent, volunteer scientific experts who rigorously review and approve our standards, which undergo testing by USP and other laboratories around the world. Ongoing testing of our standards helps ensure the quality of your product over time, and only USP reference standards are linked to official USP NF monographs that provide specifications for the identity, purity, and potency to meet FDA requirements without further in-house qualification and the needs of our global customers. With USP, you have access to our in-house scientific experts to guide you every step of the way. In addition to our best-in-class USP reference standards, we offer training, education, and other services. Our online resources help smooth your path to regulatory compliance. Our standards provide precise testing and validation guidelines, as well as reference samples for testing. Drugs can be made consistently every time. We are more than reference standards. We provide a unique combination of standards, process, and service. From buying to applying standards, we support your bottom line with reference standards that have been rated best in class by our customers. Talk with us to find out how we can help you navigate your journey to regulatory compliance. Contact USP at usp.org.
Welcome to Switzerland. Did you know that our country is not just a great place to visit, but also your first-class business location? We are centrally located in Europe, and we have the world's best infrastructure. Oh, and the train is always on time, so let's take a journey. Did you know that Switzerland has 4 official languages? Ja? No? Forse? Decidia? Don't worry, we also have excellent English skills. However, we don't spend all day chatting. We love to work. In 2012, we could have voted for longer holidays, and we voted against them. It's crazy, isn't it? But we're not crazy. Our economy and government are among the world's most stable. That, combined with our outstanding talent pool and a deregulated labor market, makes Switzerland the most innovative and competitive nation in the world. Our Swiss dual education system provides an excellent mix of both vocational education and apprenticeships. Now let's take a look at industry. Maybe Germany, the United States, and China are well known for their industrial output. But did you know that Swiss industrial production per capita beats all of them? Sorry, guys. Our country is small, but hey, 3 Swiss companies are among the global top 20 most valuable companies. Furthermore, we offer the best quality of life. That's why 3 Swiss cities are among the world's best for the highest quality of living. In addition, Switzerland is one of the happiest nations on the globe. Perhaps because we eat on average 12 kilograms of chocolate per year? Switzerland is the best location for innovation, has stable political, economic, and financial conditions, has the highest living standard, and welcomes your business. So tell us now, when will you invest in Switzerland? Switzerland Global Enterprise, enabling new business. Find out more at s-ge.com.
For us in the Aditya Birla Group, Odisha has been one of our most preferred investment destinations. Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik's exceptional leadership has been the singular factor in the rapid progress of Odisha. The state government has leveraged its competitive advantages, including its progressive policies and governance framework, are a big pull factor.
I welcome you to Odisha. Come, join the Juggernaut.
In healthcare, a vast ecosystem is helping therapy innovators become more patient-centric and more effective than ever before. Cytiva supports researchers, biopharma, and clinicians in the pursuit of more targeted treatments. In discovery, speed and accuracy are everything. The faster and smarter researchers can work, the more patients benefit. To ensure that new, more targeted therapies become reality, we're equipping biomanufacturers with the tools and expertise they need to produce cost-effectively and quickly. How can tens of thousands of individualized patient doses be manufactured quickly, efficiently, and securely? The answer, with a healthy dose of expertise and innovation. We're creating processes and solutions that are scalable and address complex needs. We work to deliver diagnostic tools and other technologies to bring the right therapy to the right patient at the right time, so that life-saving medicines come within the reach of more people and could save more lives. Cell culture, protein purification, biomarker imaging, and analysis. It may not be what most think about when envisioning the future of healthcare, but this is what we do. Our part in changing the world. Advancing and accelerating. Discovery, manufacturing, diagnostics, future therapeutics.
The road to regulatory compliance is long and filled with choices. With a combination of standards, process, and service, USP can help guide your path to compliant, quality products. Trust the standard that sets the benchmark for medicines. Our robust and collaborative scientific process is part of our comprehensive approach. We offer reference standards that are tied to USP monographs to help you minimize risk and enhance your confidence in compliance. Reduce time and resources spent developing in-house standards and streamline your path to regulatory compliance. We work with independent, volunteer scientific experts who rigorously review and approve our standards, which undergo testing by USP and other laboratories around the world. Ongoing testing of our standards helps ensure the quality of your product over time, and only USP reference standards are linked to official USP NF monographs that provide specifications for the identity, purity, and potency to meet FDA requirements without further in-house qualification and the needs of our global customers. With USP, you have access to our in-house scientific experts to guide you every step of the way. In addition to our best-in-class USP reference standards, we offer training, education, and other services. Our online resources help smooth your path to regulatory compliance. Our standards provide precise testing and validation guidelines, as well as reference samples for testing. Drugs can be made consistently every time. We are more than reference standards. We provide a unique combination of standards, process, and service. From buying to applying standards, we support your bottom line with reference standards that have been rated best in class by our customers. Talk with us to find out how we can help you navigate your journey to regulatory compliance. Contact USP at usp.org.
Welcome to Switzerland. Did you know that our country is not just a great place to visit, but also your first-class business location? We are centrally located in Europe, and we have the world's best infrastructure. Oh, and the train is always on time, so let's take a journey. Did you know that Switzerland has 4 official languages? Ja? No? Forse? Decidia? Don't worry, we also have excellent English skills. However, we don't spend all day chatting. We love to work. In 2012, we could have voted for longer holidays, and we voted against them. It's crazy, isn't it? But we're not crazy. Our economy and government are among the world's most stable. That, combined with our outstanding talent pool and a deregulated labor market, makes Switzerland the most innovative and competitive nation in the world. Our Swiss dual education system provides an excellent mix of both vocational education and apprenticeships. Now let's take a look at industry. Maybe Germany, the United States, and China are well known for their industrial output. But did you know that Swiss industrial production per capita beats all of them? Sorry, guys. Our country is small, but hey, 3 Swiss companies are among the global top 20 most valuable companies. Furthermore, we offer the best quality of life. That's why 3 Swiss cities are among the world's best for the highest quality of living. In addition, Switzerland is one of the happiest nations on the globe. Perhaps because we eat on average 12 kilograms of chocolate per year? Switzerland is the best location for innovation, has stable political, economic, and financial conditions, has the highest living standard, and welcomes your business. So tell us now, when will you invest in Switzerland? Switzerland Global Enterprise, enabling new business. Find out more at s-ge.com.
Technology is a prerequisite for quality healthcare and is fundamental to achievement of universal health coverage and the Sustainable Development Goals. Keeping in view the same, the Clean Energy Conclave at the Global Bio India intends to focus on the nexus that exists between the health, clean energy,
We are live. We are live. You can start.
A very good evening to all of you. Namaskar. On behalf of GBT and BIREC, I welcome you all to the Clean Energy Conclave at the second edition of Global Bio India. Access to energy is a prerequisite for quality healthcare and is fundamental to the achievement of universal health coverage and the Sustainable Development Goals. Keeping in view the same, the Clean Energy Conclave at the Global Bio India intends to focus on the nexus that exists between the health, clean energy, and the environment. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sangeeta Kasturi, Scientist F at Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, to provide an overview of the initiatives taken by DBT and BIOREC in the area of clean energy. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Richa. Good evening to all of you. Honorable Minister would be joining shortly. Meanwhile, all dignitaries, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Swarup, and Chairman, Chairperson, BIREC, Mr. Patrick Child, Deputy Director, General Research Innovation, European Commission, and also Chairperson of Mission Innovation Steering Committee. We have Mr. Shashi Shekhar, former Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, and current PhD Fellow. All researchers, entrepreneurs, awardees, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC, it's proud privilege welcoming you all to the Energy Conclave of second edition of Global Bio India. We are honored to have today Honorable Minister will be joining us very soon. And as I said, energy is very important, and India has moved to the center of the global energy sector due to its demand size and dynamism. There are tremendous opportunities and technology challenges to provide reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy to India's growing population and economy. Globally, India is a unique position demonstrating a new model for low capacity and self-reliant. Many clean energy initiatives have been undertaken by Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC through national and international collaboration projects under Bioenergy Mission Innovation Program, Waste Energy programs, which are aiming to achieve energy security, contributing to self-reliant India. More than 100 projects, R&D projects, including successful demonstration technologies like 2G ethanol, indigenous cellulose enzyme development, high-rate biomethanation, converting waste carbon to omega fatty acids, sewage treatment technologies, waste to high-value chemicals, materials and biopolymers, etc. Right from the idea generation to demonstration, pre-commercialization stage, department and bio has been supporting a large number of projects in these areas. Under Mission Innovation Program, India has set up a clean energy incubator, and through that 25 innovative solutions have brought out, which are also current novel technologies and providing solutions to wide range of clean energy challenges. The access to energy is a prerequisite for quality healthcare, and is a fundamental to universal healthcare coverage and the sustainable development goals. Solution to community health, the Soch Award of BIRAC aimed at innovative, efficient and affordable solutions for clean cooking in rural and community settings for a healthy community. Better health is also a measure of progress in diverse dimensions of sustainable energy, cities and transportation system. The energy efficient technologies for communities and health facilities can bridge the gap between clean energy sector. So the panel going to be discussing today, they are trying to fill the gap between how clean energy can be explored and explored for better human health, and following the showcase of some examples. The access to reliable, affordable, clean energy can have an immediate and transformative impact on quality of life, access to basic services, for example, health, education, and livelihoods. But decentralized off-grid energy solutions are key emerging, and a lot of potential are there for the decentralized energy solutions, and which can mainstream solution to expand access to modern energy services in a timely and environmentally sustainable manner. With this short brief, I would once again welcome all dignitaries and participants. We have also many dignitaries from outside companies, for example, Laurel Harmon. She is very welcome to all panel members and all participants and attendees to this clean energy session. I would now invite Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology and Chairperson, BIRAC, to kindly deliver her opening remarks. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Sangeeta. And before I make my opening remarks, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Patrick Child from the European Union, a friend of India, a friend of Mission Innovation, a friend of all the various key initiatives that we are
Minister,
taking.
ma'am, Minister had joined, so welcome, Honorable Minister. Very honored to have Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, who is the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Steel, Government of India. So welcome you, sir. And may I now again request Dr. Renu Swarup to please kindly.
Thank you very much for joining us for this very important session. It gives me great pleasure, sir, for having your participation in this very important Global Bio India. And today, our main session is on clean energy, Conclave, and the energy health nexus. So your support to this whole area, your support to the clean energy area, your support to taking new technologies, biotechnologies forward has been immense. I also take this opportunity to thank Patrick Child for Union. He is a friend of new technologies, a friend of the clean energy research and development initiatives that we are taking ahead. And Patrick Child, thank you so much for being here today with us as a distinguished speaker. Sir, Patrick Child is also the chair of the Mission Innovation, a key initiative that you know India has been a leader of. And this has also been a key initiative, sir, which our Honorable Prime Minister had actually announced. And we are happy to be part of this initiative as we move forward. So this Global Bio India, and we were very fortunate. We had you in the last Global Bio India, sir, when we met at the AeroCity ground. You were kindly there for the inauguration of that event. This year, because of these circumstances, we had to meet virtually. Last time we had about 3,000 delegates attending from nearly 30 countries, but this year, I'm very pleased to inform you, sir, we have more than 6,000 delegates who have joined us from over 50 countries. In the various sessions that we have in the various conclaves, the energy conclave occupies a very important place, mainly because we are not only talking about research and development, but we are talking about research and development to demonstration to deployment. Today, through this conclave, we have, in fact, sir, you will be kindly announcing our Soch Award, which is the Solutions for Community Health. And in this case, we have launched a challenge for clean cooking solutions. If you know, sir, is so important. You have yourself been talking about it in the startup missions which you have run through your ministry, through the public sectors of your ministry. The Honorable Prime Minister, sir, gave that to us as a challenge as well. We are also hoping that we will be able to take our roadmap, and we have here the chair of our working group, which is now debating on how we set up a very important mission, and that is the biomass hydrogen mission. So you are aware that the Honorable Finance Minister did announce it as a main mission, which the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is steering. The Department of Biotechnology is very pleased to be part of it. The center that we have launched along with the Indian Oil Corporation, the DBT IOC Center, is taking that program forward. While we look at these very important new solutions for clean energy, whether it is the hydrogen mission, whether it is our mission to see how we look at methane, or it's our mission to see how we look at the marine bioresources, which, sir, when you spoke to us on our ILS Foundation Day, you did ask us to take up a center for marine biology. Looking at scaling up, in Barakulla, we have set up a clean demo park, which is again moving to the next level of technology demonstration. All these together, sir, are mainly to be able to project what our strength is, to be able to demonstrate to the needs of the country, and also to be able to showcase our partnership for the global collaboration. These are all in alignment with the call which the Honorable Prime Minister gave us of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, so that we have technologies for our India, self-sufficiency in India, but also technologies which are important globally. Clean energy is a global challenge, and this global challenge is what we are trying to address through these various technological solutions that our startups are bringing together. So I'm very pleased to inform you that through this Global Bio India today, we have academia, we have industry, we have startups. The boundaries between these we have blurred, and we hope that with the message that we will get from leaders like you as to what are the prioritization for technologies, we will be able to then start out our roadmap for the future. I would just like to mention, sir, the Energy Health Nexus, which is the key focus area of today's discussion, which will be taken forward in the panel discussion that we have on improving health outcomes through clean energy. There was an initial report that we did, sir, a study that one of our centers in Faridabad is doing on maternal and child health. As a part of that study, there is a big cohort that they have been able to set up on which they have for looking at preterm birth. In fact, that is the largest cohort which we have of pregnant mothers, and we have nearly 8,000 in the cohort. A study was done to see how cooking solutions, indoor pollution, impacts preterm birth. And we were, in fact, we were not surprised, but the numbers which came to us were startling to see that it was increasing by the day. And I think these cooking health solutions which are now being brought out would clearly be an important solution for that. I would just like to close here, sir, by saying that with working with your ministry, working with various ministries who have been able to take these technology solutions forward. Under the mission innovation, we are working with the Department of Science and Technology, with the MNRE, with the Ministry of Petroleum, Ministry of Power. We have now committed, when we move into Mission 2.0, we will be able to take on not just the innovation challenges, but also we will look at the circular economy and targeting our bioeconomy. Our target is to reach 150 billion in the next 5 years. That is the strategy which was launched by our Honorable Minister and the Honorable Finance Minister yesterday. So once again, thank you very much, sir, for your kind presence. I will, in fact, we will now have Mr. Patrick Child giving a very brief message and his talk on what is the importance of the clean energy in the global perspective. And then, sir, we will request you to kindly award our first awardees before we can listen to your kind address. So with this, thank you once again for your kind presence here, sir. And over to you, Hafsa, to take this, or Richa, to take this program forward.
Thank you, ma'am, for your opening address and to give an insight of efforts made by DBT and BARAC in the area of clean energy and environment. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Patrick Child, Deputy Director General of Research and Innovation at the European Commission, to provide his perspective of the European Commission for Research and Innovation.
Honourable Minister, Secretary Dr. Swarup, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really delighted to be part of this Global Bioenergy 2021 conference. As the world comes together to meet the challenges of the COVID crisis, there could not be a better moment to underline the vital importance of biosciences in transforming lives and the huge economic opportunities of the bioeconomy to boost quality of life, well-being and prosperity globally. India's impressive national performance in this area makes you also a strong voice in the international debate. And this is particularly true in the energy sector, given the very direct links that there are between access to affordable clean energy and health and well-being, particularly in isolated rural communities, as well as in densely populated rural urban areas. And in speaking to you today, I'd like to touch briefly on three topics. Firstly, the excellent track record that we have of EU-India research and innovation collaboration. Specifically, secondly, the importance of international cooperation on research and innovation to meet our global goals on climate change and the sustainable development goals, in particular in the area of energy. And then finally, a few words on the relevance of the bioenergy for health and opportunities to work together in this sector too. So my first message is that we have a long-standing, strong, mutually supportive tradition of research and innovation cooperation with India. The recent 13th meeting of the EU-India Joint Steering Committee on Science and Technology Cooperation, which took place in the last few days, confirmed the growing importance of the EU-India strategic partnership and the important role of research innovation collaboration within it. I'd just like to highlight a few specific examples. Firstly, the very successful network of European and Indian incubators that we launched together in Bangalore in 2018. And this provides an excellent opportunity for incubators and accelerators from both the EU and from India to collaborate on health and energy topics of mutual interest. Under the European Union's Research and Innovation Framework Programme, Horizon 2020, we have a flagship programme of EU-India cooperation on integrated local energy systems. This was launched in 2020 and has already produced 2 large programs with 11 million euros in joint funding. And they focus on local energy networks in India and in Europe, seeking novel ways to make the energy supply cleaner and more efficient. And this is just a recent example, I think, in a very long history of successful collaboration between the European Union and India on energy projects, ranging from offshore and solar renewables, grid integration, and energy efficiency. And taken together, this important portfolio of projects, I believe, will result in novel solutions encompassing local integration across different energy vectors, while increasing the share of renewables in the energy mix and boosting our shared commitment to energy efficiency. I should also like to highlight the International Bioeconomy Forum, of which India was a founding member in 2017. And this forum continues to be a valuable place for us to cooperate on important topics like sustainable biorefineries. I think all of this underlines, and this is my second message, the importance of international cooperation, which is essential for us to address global climate challenges and to make progress on the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN Agenda 2030. For the European Union, clean energy is a real focus of our international cooperation activities on research and innovation. And as Dr. Swarup has said, and we're very happy to be working alongside India and other partners internationally in initiatives such as Mission Innovation. This global coalition of 24 partner countries and the European Union represents and brings together 80% of publicly funded investment into energy research and innovation worldwide. And collectively, we're committed to increasing the public investment in clean energy to ensure affordable clean energy solutions for all. And I'm very encouraged just to hear Dr. Swarup's confirmation of the continued commitment and higher levels of ambition that India brings to this very important initiative. And I think that our work together in Mission Innovation is also boosted by the impressive track record of bilateral cooperation on the flagship projects that I've mentioned before, which put us together, European Union and India, working shoulder to shoulder to support the global community in Mission Innovation, and underlining our shared commitment to reinvigorating and accelerating global clean energy innovation in order to make clean energy solutions widely available and affordable. Our Commissioner, Maria Gabriel, who's responsible for research, innovation, education and culture, is very much looking forward to an ambitious new phase in innovation, which we hope will be confirmed in the ministerial meeting in May, June of this year, and then highlighted, I'm sure, at the COP meeting in Glasgow later in the year. And I think that our work together on clean energy through Mission Innovation is vital in achieving our objectives of net zero and the Paris Agreement commitments that we share. I particularly welcome India's long-standing support for Mission Innovation, as underlined by the inspiring address that we had from Minister Haarstvardam at our senior officials meeting a few days ago. And I've really enjoyed working alongside my good friend, Dr. Swarup, as India's representative in our steering committee. And your engagement and involvement is very considerable. India co-leads the Off-Grid Access to Electricity Innovation Challenge, which addresses the difficulty of providing cost-effective and reliable off-grid energy solutions. You're also co-leading the Sustainable Biofuels Innovation Challenge, and the European Union is happy to be actively and committed to participation in both of these challenges. I should also, at a personal level, want to welcome India's very, very strong support for the Mission Innovations Champions Programme, which the European Commission has also been supporting very strongly. This aims to create a global network of leading innovators in clean energy. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Purnima Jalhal as India's Mission Innovation Champion for 2020 and for her pioneering research on water. And so we very much look forward to continuing this active cooperation under the next phase of the work of Mission Innovation, including, I hope, on clean hydrogen and possibly in the area of the bioeconomy. And we know that these are two topics which are also of interest in India, and I very much welcome that. And I come now to my third and final message, and that's the importance of clean energy solutions for public health, and very much at the center of the agenda of today's energy conclave of this conference. Air pollution from fossil fuels is responsible for more than 8 million premature deaths annually across the world. And this is a huge challenge that we face collectively. And it's why a rapid transformation of our energy system that will stop reliance on fossil fuels is urgently needed in order to not only contribute to our climate goals more widely, but also to address these very severe impacts on public health. Reliable energy supply is also vital to the provision of healthcare. And just as we are transporting the COVID vaccines around the world, think of the importance of refrigeration and also of blood in our healthcare systems. So research and innovation on clean and sustainable energy solutions will help us to phase out our dependence on fossil fuels and improve reliability on energy supply. And we're therefore looking very much forward to continuing our excellent cooperation with global partners, including India, on research and innovation through our new Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Programme, which begins this year and which will be fully open to the world. So in conclusion, Minister, ladies and gentlemen, to leave you with 3 points. We have very strong cooperation with India, and we very much value this partnership and the relationship we've established. And we are deeply committed to build on this relationship in key areas of common strategic interest. Clean energy is one of the most important areas of our international collaboration, both bilaterally and through important multilateral initiatives such as Mission Innovation, fully consistent with the European Union's commitment to the European Green Deal and our objective of being the first carbon neutral continent by 2050. And finally, energy is critical to public health. We must continue to reinforce our research and innovation contributions to this key field and work together where we can. And so finally, I'd like to congratulate the winners of the Virac Solutions for Community Health Awards that we're about to hear from and wish them every success in their pioneering work. And I thank you again for including me in this prestigious event. And I look forward to the stimulating discussions throughout the conference yesterday and today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick, for the encouraging words. And may I now request Honorable Minister Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji sir for your kind words and it's thank you so much.
Now,
Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary DBT and Chairperson EIRSC, Sri Shashi Shekharji, former Secretary Water Resource, Mr. Patrick Child, Deputy Director General Research and Innovation, European Commission, distinguished innovators, panelists, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. It is my pleasure to be here at the Clean Energy Conclave, the Global Bio India 2021. Clean energy is going to play a large role in fueling the growth of the Indian economy to manage the ambition and needs of our population. The interdependence of energy and health is on one hand that has been an important area of focus in the last few years. India, led by Honorable Prime Minister Sri Modi, has taken the responsible path of sustainable development and energy transition for a clean and green future and the greatest common good for all. Our approach for cleaner energy and low carbon economy will be guided by a well-defined energy transition roadmap with 7 key drivers as outlined by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, in October last year. Essentially means it will be a healthy mix of all commercially viable energy sources. We will attach high priority for maximizing deployment of energy sources, including biofuels, emerging fuels such as hydrogen, available within the country. We are consistently taking energy policy initiatives, revamping policies, and taking needful measures. We are developing next generation infrastructure based on 5 guiding key enablers of energy availability and accessibility to all, energy affordability to the poorest of the poor, efficiency in energy use, energy sustainability for combating climate change as a responsible global citizen, and security for mitigation of global uncertainties. Natural gas will be a significant transition for fuel for us. We are taking all efforts to shift towards a gas-based economy to increase the share of natural gas from current 6% to 15% by 2030 by developing the nationwide gas grid and other gas infrastructure, including city gas distribution and LNG regasification terminals. Additionally, we are promoting LNG as a fuel for 10% of long-haul heavy-duty trucks and setting up 1,000 LNG stations. There is also an increased push to adopt hydrogen fuel mix. Last year, we launched the hydrogen-enriched compressed natural gas HCNG plant and dispensing stations in Delhi, and also roll out the first set of buses in HCNG. In Budget 2021, a national hydrogen mission has been launched. Our oil and gas companies are already developing projects for use of hydrogen as fuel. We have successfully transitioned nationwide to Bharat 6 fuel equivalent to Euro 6 emission norms since April 2020 to reduce air pollution. Our refineries have been upgraded to produce BS6 fuel with an investment of 34,000 crore. We have embarked on a major biofuel program in the country, which has huge investment opportunities. Biofuels have the power to create a balance between our environment and economic development. In order to augment feedstock availability and promote biofuels, we have notified National Policy on Biofuels 2018 in June 2018. The policy encourages innovation and provides thrust to research and development and demonstration in the field of biofuels by utilizing developed and emerging technologies while undertaking R&D activities. We have taken major initiatives for setting up a 12 2G ethanol commercially plants from agricultural waste across 11 states at an estimated cost of 14,000 crore. These biorefineries will significantly contribute towards the ethanol blending program for achieving 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2025. I'm happy to share that the ethanol blending percentage have risen from 0.67% in 12-13 to reach 8.5% this year. This year, the ethanol supplies contract has surged to 332 crores liter, which is 91% more in comparison to ethanol supplies received in the last year, 1920, 173 crore liters. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is engaging on a G2G basis with several countries including Brazil, Finland, USA, Italy, Belgium in the field of biofuels. Indian companies have been encouraged to work with their foreign counterparts for development of biorefinery projects exploring different feedstocks such as bamboo and production of advanced biofuels for air and sea transport. Government is also encouraging setting up supply chain mechanism for biodiesel production from non-edible oilseeds, used cooking oil, short gestation crops. Used cooking oil is being promoted for biodiesel production. We have launched Satat sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation scheme, and compressed biogas for waste to wealth generation. Under Satat, it is planned to roll out 5,000 compressed biogas plants across India in a phased manner by 2023 with an investment potential of 20 billion. These plants are expected to produce 15 million tons of compressed biogas per annum. So far, oil and gas marketing companies have issued about 900 letters of intent to entrepreneurs for production and supply of CBG across the country. Corporate groups like JBM, Adani, Torrent, and PLL have signed up MOU with Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas for setting up 900 CBG plants. Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Praj Industries Limited, CEID Consultant, and Bharat Biogas Energy have signed MOU with MOPNG for providing technical assistance to the upcoming CBG plants. Our oil and gas marketing companies are also working with municipal corporation and have signed up MOU with NDMC and SDMC to develop municipal solid waste-based waste-to-energy facility in Delhi. The Satat initiative is in line with the goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat, or a self-reliant India, which is expected to set a new pathway for decarbonization and global benchmark for cleaner fuels using domestically available resources. I'm happy that the Clean Energy Conclave at the Global Bio India is focusing on the interdependence that exists between the health of an individual and how can it be improved by providing clean energy and environment. It is a matter of great satisfaction that our country is moving towards universal access to clean cooking fuel. The LPG coverage in India has seen a remarkable surge from 55% in 2014 to now 99.6%. We are now increasing the coverage by another 10 million LPG connections under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana to achieve universal coverage. The Ujjwala program not only tackles the health and environmental problem due to kitchen smoke, but also empowers the women and restores control to them over their destiny. The PMIO has been hailed by the international organization and developed countries, while it has set an example for the developing countries of the world. The World Health Organization termed it as a decisive intervention to check the indoor air pollution being faced by women of the country. I have a strong opinion that viable technology breakthrough through biotechnological intervention shall be key enabler for the success of national policy on biofuels. I am happy to note that the progressive and futuristic vision of DBT has taken biofuels development in a mission mode. One of our country's greatest strengths is the ability and capacity of affordable innovation for India and for the world. I have come to know that there are so many startups featured in this program as well as larger companies. I am pleased that Department of Biotechnology and Biotechnology Industry Research Association Council have been instrumental in promoting the research and development in the area of clean energy. I have been informed that DBT has set up 5 centers of excellence with IOC R&D, ICT Mumbai, ICGEB New Delhi, TERI and IITs for advanced bioenergy research for development and clean and green technologies. I am also aware of IOC R&D center work on 2G ethanol, 2G enzyme, CBG and bio-assisted carbon capture for clean energy technologies. This year theme of Global Bio India, Transforming Lives, Bioscience to Bioeconomy fits into the Government of India's mandate for clean technologies development. I would like to congratulate all the innovators who are working in the space of clean energy and this innovation ecosystem and taking forward the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. I would also like to extend my congratulations to the speakers in this panel discussion and look forward to enriching discussions. I look forward to deliberations of this conclave and wish all the participants and attendants of the Global Bio India the very best. Thank you, friends.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very, very kind words. And once again, we feel very reassured with your continuous support that you have given us. And with your support, we hope we will be able to take over this R&D to the demonstration, to deployment, to participation of industry, academia, and startup. Thank you very much, and Hafsa, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now request the permission of the Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji to please make the announcements for the Soch Award. So with your permission, and go ahead, sir, I would make the announcements.
Please do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The BIRAC Innovation Challenge Award Soch 2020-21, which is the solution for community health in association with the knowledge partner Social Alpha and BIRAC's BioNest Incubator Partner Clean Energy International Incubation Center, CEIIC. The challenge is envisioned to identify and facilitate India's innovators working towards combating clean cooking-based challenges having national and global relevance. The award is focused for the theme Innovative, Efficient and Affordable Solutions for Clean Cooking in Rural and Community Settings. And the proposals were invited in the areas of biomass, electricity, LPG, solar and biogas-based cooking solutions from both individuals and companies to support their idea or proof of concept all the way from designing, developing and taking it for field deployment for the voice of customers. The selection process is to be carried out in 3 stages. The top 10 applicants to be shortlisted in the first stage, 5 finalists to be selected in the second stage, and in the third and final stage, 2 winners will be announced. As on date, 9 applications have been announced and supported as our Soch Stage 1 awardees. And in these, we have 3 companies and 6 individual applicants. Social Alpha team has carried out due diligence and need assessment of these awardees and is further assisting them with grant support and incubation mentorship support over the next 5 months towards development of a minimum viable product. May we now have a look on the Soch awardees and about their innovations through a pre-recorded audio-visual, please. May we have the AV, please?
Good evening, everyone. It's our pleasure to present to you the awardees of BIRAC Innovation Challenge Award, Soch 2021, Stage 1. Presenting to you the first segment of awardees, companies. Om Cleantech Private Limited, founded by Ms. Bhavna Siddharth Mayur. The title of the solution is Annapurna Multi-Purpose Energy Pot, a clean, reliable, and affordable cooking and power backup based on salt battery technology. The innovation aims to offer clean cooking and energy access in one device, Annapurna MPEP, which is maintenance-free with no recurring costs. It would be an affordable solution that can be scaled from a rural home to community kitchens. Shionim Technologies Private Limited. The MD and the CEO of the company is Mr. Jitendra Kumar Gautam, and the title of the solution is Hybrid Solar Gas Cooking System. The innovation aims to provide clean, energy-efficient heating solution across multiple fuels. The company has developed a hybrid solar gas cook stove that works on biogas, LPG, natural gas, along with solar electricity. Energy Swaraj Foundation, founded by Professor Chetan Singh Solanki. The title of solution is Clean Solar PV Induction-Based Cooking Solutions, and the innovation aims to offer solar PV cook stove based on resistive heating technology. The advantage of this technology lies in direct connection to solar panels without using any electronics. Moving to the next segment of awardees, the individuals. Dr. Ajay G. Chandak. The title of solution is Development of Small Solar Steamer for Community Cooking and Autoclaving. The innovation aims to offer a cost-effective solution by using solar energy to generate steam for community cooking at rural schools, anganwadis, old age homes, hotels, motels, and canteens. Mr. Arun Chauhan and Ms. Sejal Mishra. The title of solution was From Organic Waste to Renewable Energy. And the innovation aims to offer a compact biogas plant which uses waste food rather than dung or manure as feedstock to supply biogas for cooking. The plant is being designed to be sufficiently compact so that it can be used by urban households. Dr. V. Karthikeyan. The title of solution is Smart Cooking System, and the innovation aims to offer a modified quasi-resonant converter in an induction heating mechanism to minimize the losses, thereby enhancing the efficiency compared to the conventional mechanisms. Dr. Nishant Gopalan, the title of the application is IoT-based process control for community biogas plants in a rural setup. And the innovation aims to develop a control system that can be deployed in any existing or new biogas plant and make them fully automated along with real-time data recording. This can aid monitoring, processing, and controlling the entire chain for increased quality and quantity of output. It will also provide facility to process data along with a user-friendly IoT-based monitoring, prediction, and fault detection system. Moving on, Dr. Muthukumar P. The title of solution is Energy Efficient and Environment Friendly Biogas Cook Stoves with Porous Radiant Burners. And the innovation aims to design and develop porous radiant burners biogas cook stove with improved thermal efficiency. The stove can be used for multiple applications, including rotary furnace, preheating furnace, and drying agricultural products. Coming to the last entry, Mr. Miraj Ahmed, the title of the solution is Smart Gas Stove, and the innovation aims to offer solutions with unique features like controlling of primary air and secondary air, controlling of heat loss, complete utilization of produced heat, and controlled heat distribution. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And with this, we have these 9 awardees, and now we will take them to the next level, handhold them, so that they can then get their innovations which they have identified to be demonstrated. And we hope that these 9 awardees will be able to deliver some very interesting solutions. Thank you very much, sir, for announcing these.
Renuji, can I intervene something?
Yes, sir.
Renuji, I am so happy this year in the award you are giving, they all are renewable energy based solar cooking equipments. Being the in charge of LPG, we are the natural service provider for the clean cooking fuel to the countrymen. And recently, this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is a huge global phenomenon today. And Prime Minister has given us a responsibility. How can we monetize, capture the solar energy, convert it to the heating mechanism for the cooking? All the individuals, all the organizations you have awarded today, they are all in this sector. At an available time with you, I would like to meet all of them to a VC mode or a one-to-one, or we can invite them to Delhi, or we need to promote them. How commercially we can adopt their experiment. We can plan together. I'll be happy to be associated with this initiative. This is my open invitation to these innovators.
Thank you very much, sir, for this very, very important encouragement. I think this will be great boost for our innovators. And we were so keen, and I think we will immediately arrange it as per your convenience, even if they can come physically and meet you or virtually, because that is really the purpose. How do we take these solutions? And if they can get this boost from you here, I can assure you, sir, there will be many other such innovators who are clean energy incubator that we have set up. We will be able to promote this. So thank you for your very kind encouragement on this, and we will surely come back to you, sir, bringing these innovators to see how we can work with you and your ministry to take it forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, Shilpi, would you like to propose the formal vote of thanks to the Honorable Minister so that we can close? You're on mute, Shilpi. We can't hear you.
On behalf of Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, for the time he took out for the Clean Energy Conclave. Sir, we are greatly encouraged by your presence And thank you for the vision of making this sector efficient, productive, and sustainable. We understand the importance of this area and are working towards making this area a great success for contributing to the economy. We would also like to thank Secretary, Department of Biotechnology and Chairperson BIRAC, Dr. Renu Swarup, for her constant guidance. And finally, we would like to thank all the speakers in this session and look forward to enriching this session. Thank you very much. I would now request Dr. Hafsa to please take forward the session.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, we will now move to the technical session. Thank you for gracing the inaugural session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Moving forward with the technical session, I would now invite Mr. Shashi Shekhar, former Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources and current PSA Fellow, for his plenary talk. We'll have your talk, sir, and can we have the slides as well?
Thank you very much. Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Swarup, Dr. Patrick Child, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very delighted to be part of this session, which would discuss on energy and health. It's a very, very apt subject being discussed today, and one would like to hear the panelists and their views. As far as my view is concerned, just would like to point out that air pollution has become a very serious health hazard, and it is no longer a debatable subject. The relationship between air pollution and premature mortality and a number of other diseases is seriously getting established. The seriousness of health impact, particularly in India, can be gauged from the following facts, which are based out of various studies. One, in 2017, it's a Lancet study, which estimates about 1.24 million deaths in India attributed to air pollution. This includes 0.67 million to ambient particulate matters pollution and about 0.48 million to household pollution. We have a very serious household because very large population, close to about 50% population, is still use wood in the house with a very, very low level of ventilation, and this is causing a serious health problem in the rural areas. Air pollution has already become one of the biggest killers in India. India has a distinction of having 14 out of 15 worst air polluted cities in the world and 21 out of 30. Now, India has about 26% of global deaths and disability adjusted life years, what we call it DALYs, attributable to air pollution. The most glaring is recent studies by Chicago University. The findings suggest that air pollution has shortened average Indian life expectancy by about 5.2 years, and in Delhi it's about 9.4 years. It's a very, very glaring. We need to understand this, and it must force us to rethink about our energy policy and energy approach. Delhi tops 2.5 PM 2.5 list of cities as per World Health Organization 2018 report. Air pollutant like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon can cause serious cognitive problems among the children. This is research. All these are research studies. There is nothing that has come out of blue. 99.5% of Indian population is exposed to PM 2.5 and PM 10 of a level which is much higher than the world WHO standard. Problems like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung disease, heart ailment, even intergenerational transfer of problems are being seen now. It is assuming serious problem, though a lot more studies required to understand whether these studies give us underestimation of the health hazard on account of air pollution or not. Definitely, these are serious issues, very, very serious issues, and perhaps imperative would demand that we need to rethink about our entire energy approach. What is causing increased level of air pollution? All of us know, because of industrialization, economic development, population growth and rapid urbanization have led to skyrocketing energy demand. India has added fourfold vehicles, the number of vehicles on road in the last 20 years. Energy demand is generally met by fossil fuel, about 74% by fossil fuel and about 26% by bioenergy. Therefore, we need to understand the various usages of and in different form of energy, so that to understand and appreciate what could be our what should be our strategy. In 2017-2018, the total final energy consumption was 594 million tons of oil equivalent. But this will not give us a very clear and correct picture. Let us break it up. 33% is oil, nearly 7% is natural gas, 17% is electricity, 17% is coal direct, and about 26%, as high as 26%, is bioenergy. Our strategy, we have done a lot of work. Minister's talk would have given us, we would have given those who have joined this webinar the idea of what all we are doing. But let us see that our strategy has by and large been focusing on increased penetration of renewable energy and energy efficiency in electricity consumption. Electricity is only 17%. Balance 83% is still have not received that much of attention as they should. Renewable energy electricity consumption is only 17%, of which renewable energy as on date contributes to 9.2% of the total energy generation in this country. So how much of impact it would have made in overall reducing air pollution is a thing which I leave it to the audience. India has made very decent progress in terms of penetrating renewable energy, increasing the capacity of capacity addition in renewable energy, and we are pursuing it with vigor. We have also, as Minister has announced, that already we have distributed about 50 million gas cylinders in the rural household and moving up to about 80 million. But all these things will not be adequate. It will require much higher efforts than what is required, what is being done today. The suggestion is that we have to, the balance 83% of energy would need to move towards cleaner energy. And what is the option before us? The option before us now, with solar energy, cost of solar energy coming down so rapidly, it has already reached 2 rupees. With some incentive, more payment security mechanism, it can reach about 1.5 to 1.75, and that is making green hydrogen a very viable option. One expects that in the next 2-3 years, green hydrogen would become a viable option. What is green hydrogen? Green hydrogen is when you electrolyze water in electrolyzer using renewable energy, water is split into hydrogen and oxygen, and that hydrogen, capturing that hydrogen, is green hydrogen. Hydrogen has already, across the world, major developing countries, 33 countries have already announced their hydrogen strategy and hydrogen mission, and by 2030 they have announced different targets. By 2050, most of these developed countries, 33 countries, are targeting to approach or reach net zero carbon economy. What hydrogen, how hydrogen, green hydrogen can impact air pollution? This is what we need to understand. Green hydrogen together with fuel cell is the ideal option for transportation, particularly of long distance and heavy duty transportation. It is viable even today. For short distance and not heavy duty vehicles like cars, it is expected that in next 3-4 years they can also become viable. But at least for car we have battery option. So we need to aggressively move the transportation sector to hydrogen fuel cell based mobility, so that the transportation sector, which uses maximum of fossil fuel, liquid fossil fuel and gas, can become completely clean. It will significantly reduce oil and gas consumption. It will significantly reduce, at least in the urban areas, pollution level. Second, green hydrogen can easily be converted to green ammonia by mixing nitrogen and hydrogen using Haber-Bosch process. All the thermal power plant, Japan has committed that by 2030, all the thermal power plants, both gas as well as coal-based, will reduce the consumption of fossil fuel by 20% and increase 20% by green ammonia, which means they are aggressively moving towards consumption of green ammonia and replacing coal and gas in the thermal power plants. And by 2045, they intend replacing all coal and all natural gas based power plant only with ammonia. It is a committed national policy by Japan. We have very high level of coal based and gas based plant, thermal power plants. Could we not have similar strategy? This strategy could be easily possible. India has very good source of solar as a source, and we have very good demand for hydrogen in the economy. So we can create a good demand for hydrogen in the economy, and this could significantly replace over a period of time the fossil fuel in the form of oil and gas. Industrial heating, particularly steel, refineries, chemicals, can gradually move from blue or gray hydrogen to green hydrogen. Hydrogen as storage of renewable energy and provide clean energy, clean electricity for 24 into 7. It is possible. It is indeed possible to do it. Ammonia, green ammonia is marine fuel. World is very rapidly moving towards. Portugal is setting up a large number of ammonia filling stations at their ports, so that the ship can call, get filled, and move. So they are moving out of those bad heavy fuel to green ammonia. Can we aggressively increase solar penetration in the daytime and ensure that all the agriculture pump sets can use solar instead of diesel or electricity? More important, can we supply the rural household induction cooking plates? They can use solar power to do cooking in the daytime. In the evening, they can still draw electricity and from the grid and do it till they are replaced by cleaner source of energy at the village level. This can transform the rural economy, and this can transform the health hazard that particularly the women are playing. Current solid biofuel, which dominates cooking in the rural areas, as Minister has announced a large number of an initiative, and very rapidly the country is moving towards converting the biofuel into compressed biogas, and some people are even thinking of going towards hydrogen. The Ministry of Department of Biotechnology has already set up a biofuel hydrogen committee to look into as how it is possible. considering the health hazard of air pollution caused by fossil fuel burning, and that the possibility of fossil fuel gradually getting replaced by cleaner fuel, distinct roadmap the country would require to prepare. We have to announce a roadmap and follow that roadmap in terms of implementation. Government has already announced green hydrogen mission. We have to see as how we can aggressively implement them. We have to combat air pollution. Otherwise, all the economic gains will get diluted in the health issues. We need to aggressively combat this. We have been, last 30 years, we have been fighting in the international fora for increased carbon space for development. Time has come that we need to now fight to help us to have higher space of cleaner energy in our economy. Thank you very much. I over to you, Sangeeta and Dr. Richa. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that very, very intriguing talk. And I'm sure that all our panelists and all our viewers are going to draw a lot from those thoughts. With this, we now move ahead with the Startup Showcase segment, where we will have 5 startups showcasing their innovations. We will have brief presentations from the innovators. For the first one, may I please invite Mr. Mayur Shetty from BlackRock Technologies, and your presentation, please.
Hi, is my screen visible? Hello. Yeah, hi, hello everybody. I'm Mayur Shetty. I'm CEO of a technology startup company called BlackFrog, based out of coastal Karnataka, Manipal. The theme of today's event is transforming lives, and I think everybody can agree that vaccines are the way for us to get out of this pit that COVID-19 has pushed mankind into. With support from BIRAC and partners, we've developed a solution for addressing the last mile challenges associated with immunization. I'm very proud to say that today we were able to launch the production of our next generation vaccine carrier specifically for COVID-19 by Dr. Renu Swarup and Honorable Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal. Emvolio is a patented technology we've developed at BlackFrog that maintains a very strict 2 to 8 degrees Celsius for transport and static storage of vaccines. Same temperature range that most vaccines require, including the COVID-19 candidates Covaxin and Covishield. We are now live in 5 states, delivering efficacious vaccines to some of the farthest corners of the country. And we've seen some hard data wherein ice boxes and other traditional methods were used, and there is a serious evidence of vaccines frozen and presenting great risk of inefficacious vaccines being administered. And this is what we want to eliminate. But most importantly, Emvolio is compatible with decentralized renewable energy. In a remote setup, in a remote primary health setup like Northeast India, it's not even just about clean energy. There is no alternative. Severe power loss because of landslides and erratic power supply presents great risk of vaccines going to waste because you're not able to maintain that appropriate condition while storing the vaccines. The ANMs and Anganwadi workers are now using our device even for even as a standalone refrigerator for static storage of vaccines. I'm proud to announce that we are now a ISO certified manufacturer of medical devices, and moving ahead, our mission is to ensure that every citizen in India receives potent, safe and efficacious vaccines, and we are able to get ahead of this pandemic and other preventable diseases. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Mayur, we invite Abhishek from the Himalayan Store to please make his pitch. Thank you. Abhishek, we can't hear you.
Hello everyone, Abhishek here from Himalayan Rocket Stove. Himalayan Rocket Stove is a social enterprise which provides improved heating solution to Himalayan region and other colder region of people. Company established in 2017 with the objective of improving people's life in colder region by providing them improved and better heating solution and reducing their fuel demand and carbon emission to environment with the uses of our products uh, which have improved flow of preheat air and have Vortex technology and heat trap function, which result in smoke reduction with more heat and also reduce the fuel consumption. We have recognized by ASME, HP Pollution Control Board, Social Alpha, and Clean Cooking Forum, and many more in list. As of now, we sold more than 4,000 stoves with the pace of 2x growth in every year. Most of these customers are happy and observed that heat capacity of our stoves is much better and also claim the smoke and fuel consumption reduction. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek. Next on the list, we have Mr. Ashish Dutt from SAF Biogas. May we please have your presentation, please, Ashish? Okay, Abhishek, you may please stop sharing your screen.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
And is my screen visible?
Not yet, Ashish.
Okay, I'll just try again once.
Sure, sure.
Has the previous speaker stopped sharing his screen?
Yes, we don't have him sharing as of now.
Okay, just give me 30 seconds more.
Sure.
And
Ashish, if that takes longer, can we have Ravi coming in?
I think it's ready right now. If you can see the screen, I can go for it.
Yeah, now it is there. You may please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Salam, namaste. It's an honor to be here. We're from SAF Energy, and our motto is to convert organic waste to quality of life. What if I told you that there was a technology that could encapsulate whatever has been discussed today at this forum? Be it Swachh Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Energy Access Health Nexus, the Satat scheme, the gas grid mission, the clean cooking and clean energy transition, and the entire waste to energy and biofuel program. So I'm proud and honored to be here to tell you that we believe we have that technology to transform lives and to convert organic waste into quality of life. a vehicle for India's development. And by that, we mean the next generation AD technology 2.0, a decentralized, plug-and-play, containerized anaerobic reactor, what we call the SAF India in a box, available in different capacities, plug-and-play like Lego modules, adaptable, scalable for different substrates, different biogas applications, designed to meet the highest standards in hygiene, uptime, performance, and safety. This is what we're talking about, and we believe that our technology is ideally suited not only for the bulk waste generator segment, but also well suited for the 600,000 villages, urban local bodies across the country, and communities. It's ideally suited for mini grid, microgrid applications, and enables the shift towards clean cooking and the clean energy transition both at once. As you can see on the right-hand side of the image, we hope that we are fulfilling some of the goals and missions that we have been talking about through this SAF India in a box. And on the right-hand side, you will see that the next phase of innovation, in addition to the processing and biogas generation technology that we have, will be in the area of biogas mobility. We've been one of the first few startups to run trials on the biogas backpack outside Bangalore in rural Andhra Pradesh. And we continue to hope for everyone's blessings, well wishes, and opportunities in order to convert India's growing waste problem into from a crisis to an opportunity, not only in terms of improving and facilitating and enabling the clean energy health nexus, but also in terms of being a catalyst for clean cooking, health, gender, and livelihoods, and overall development as a microcosm in India. So thank you very much. And if there's any questions, we can take it offline. And I just would like to leave you with the fact that biogas is our future. India is well positioned to capitalize, and I hope we'll see many, many more innovations and technologies in this area. It has the highest impact and clean energy coefficient out of any other technology and process out there. And this is something that's meeting multiple sustainable development goals in India and internationally.
Thank you, Ashish. It was lovely hearing about that innovation. And I would now invite Mr. Ravi Kaushik from Earth Research to please display his slides. Thank you.
Yes. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ravi, we can.
Okay. Hello everybody. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Problem that we are facing today is not only I have lost my screen somehow. Just a minute. I'll share again. Can you see my screen still?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, yes. So the problem that we are facing today is not only airborne disease transmission, that is COVID, but also air pollution. And both of them can have detrimental effect, and we already have a lot of evidence around it. And that's what we as an organization are trying to solve. We have developed world's first antimicrobial air purification technology, which has been developed at Chemical Engineering Department at IIT Bombay, for real-time deactivation of unseen viruses and also to protect from air pollutants that are in the air. We are being supported by IIT Kanpur for deployment. We have tested for COVID-sized particles, are we able to remove particles which are as small as COVID? Second, we have done testing at NABL accredited lab for, just imagine the room where you are sitting in, we have aerosolized very fine water droplets which had microbial contaminants in it. And we tested with and without our system, and I am happy to say in 10 minutes you are able to achieve 99.99% reduction. So we are protecting against not only air pollution like any other air purifier, we are protecting against both airborne disease transmission and air pollution. We are using proprietary DCD technology, that is deactivate, capture, deactivate technology, which induces बीमारी से ज़्यादा डर फैल रहा है, and that's what we are also trying to solve, induce confidence and remove fear which is among people by a real-time, continuous and preventive solution. We have already deployed a unit during COVID, and we have not registered any case so far at all the places like banks, co-working space, gyms, hospitals, couple of restaurants, and Mantralaya in Mumbai, SIDBI office, and been in news for that. And let's defeat infection spread and air pollution together. The entire system has been developed in India, with India, and with IITs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi. Made in India innovations make us proud. We'd now like to have Mr. Tushar Devi Dayal from the Devi Dayal Solar Solutions to have your presentation, please.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. It's a privilege to be here. My name is Tushar Devi Dayal. I'm the founder and CEO of DD Solar. Like some of the other companies, we are incubated by Social Alpha and also by the Powering Livelihoods program, which is run by Wilgrow and CEEW. A little bit about our product and solution. It's a solar DC refrigerator that works on solar power, and it runs on DC 12 and 24 volt. Our temperature range is 1 to 11 degrees. It's noteworthy to point out that it's one of the most efficient solar fridges in this category. We've won the Global Leap Award internationally for this. The fridge consumes 0.329 kilowatt hours per 24 hours. So what that means is we're effectively consuming 1 unit of electricity every 3 days. And actually it's not electricity because it's solar power and backed up by a battery. I'd like to focus on a case study that we did with Tata Trust in Hazaribagh in Jharkhand for veterinary vaccine storage. This was a critical use application, and we needed a longer autonomy. We're happy to say that our solar DC refrigerator with the thicker PUF insulation showed stable temperature range of 3 to 8 degrees for up to 4 days. We have now tested and offer a range of compatible data loggers and medical racks. We also supply WHO approved vaccine carrier boxes to complete the offering. In Hazaribagh, in this case, it was a hub and spoke model where the solar refrigerator was being used as a vaccine chamber, and paravets were carrying out the smaller doses of vaccines in carrier boxes. And our solar DC refrigerator, because of its efficiency and energy efficiency, is very suitable for truck mounted use as well. So now we have mobile use cases in Rajasthan, in parts of Maharashtra, and we would very much like to extend this concept to a medical truck for vaccine delivery. Thank you so much. My email's at the bottom for anyone who'd like to reach out to me. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you. So, studies of these kind are most important at this time, and we look forward to having more such innovations. With this, you all the innovators for the startup showcase. And with this, moving ahead, next, we now have a panel discussion on improving health outcomes through clean energy. On the panel this evening, we have Ms. Gauri Singh, Deputy Director General IRENA, Dr. Ravi Kant, Founder Doctors for You, Professor Ambud Sagar from IIT Delhi, Mr. Neeraj Jain, Country Director PATH, Ajay Pillari Sethi, Department of Environment Health, Emory University, Dr. Harman, Vice President, Landscape. And this session is going to be moderated by Dr. Harish Hande, Founder, Selco Foundation. I invite you, sir, to take over the proceedings of this session, please.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, congratulations to BIREC and the Ministry of Biotechnology for holding this this conference at the apt time, and especially bringing in the topic of health and energy together. And we should also not forget to mention Mr. Manoj Kumar, head of Social Alpha, who actually brought us all together here on this panel. And thanks, Manoj. I'm sure you're listening. and we can make more fun of you as time goes. So with that, I want to know how it's so heartening to see that in a health conference, and coming from the energy side, in a health conference, we've had a topic of energy health nexus, and it's a rarity because many a time the energy guys have their own conferences, the health guys have their own conferences, and it's all about selling panels to the health sector, and health sector using the panels and saying that it is not working after a year or so. So the question is, it's never together a partnership that will lead to better nexus, that truly the end goal is sustainable delivery of health, and how can sustainable energy actually play a role. And we've had some wonderful inputs from the various speakers, including especially the minister who gave us a direction to this panel. So first, let me start with, and I would not like to introduce our speakers, they're very eminent. Google them, you can find most of it, but I'll just give a very brief start to a couple of sentences. To start with Dr. Ravikant. Dr. Ravikant has been a pioneer who started in 2007, Doctors for You. He has embattled all types of crises, from malaria, dengue, and now the coronavirus here in Bihar and in many other places. So you've been fighting this and have been a champion of this nexus. Could you, from your own words, as a practitioner in health, how do you see energy health nexus? Over to you, sir.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yes, sir. So as you said, we are working in our own silos. We are not talking to each other. Doctors have their own conferences and the energy people are there. So we need to interact more, and we need to understand the requirement of each other. In fact, today morning only I had another panel discussion where I was surprised to know that only in Bihar, the potential of this renewable energy, decentralized energy is huge. The demand is almost 266 megawatt, and it can generate 13,173 jobs just in Bihar, and the overall market is of 2,500 crore. So you can imagine the potential we have for DRE in health sector. In fact, as you know, even our Anganwadi center, I consider Anganwadi center as a part of health exactly, because everything, right from the ANC to immunization, everything is done at Anganwadi. And you will be surprised to know that most of the Anganwadi centers are without electricity. I'll give you one example, sir. You know, malnutrition in India is very, very high. In fact, 10 years back, more than 50% children in India were malnourished. During the summer season, what happened? The Anganwadi center are so hot that the parents are not sending their children to Anganwadi, and for these 2 months, they don't receive the ration, and they become further malnourished. Even in a state like Kerala, there are hundreds and hundreds of Anganwadis where there is no electricity. Bihar ka to khair bolna hi nahi hai. So here, so similarly, many of our health center are without electricity, or electricity is not reliable. We are actually very thankful to your foundation, Selco Foundation, who introduced these solar. We actually started with very small 2 or 3 kilowatt plate, and initially as a doctor I was also not very sure कि ये काम करेगा नहीं करेगा, but when we started using the solar energy, one day my mother told me कि अरे this our center is better than Patna house, because in Patna house there are the electricity shortage, like the load shedding we call, for 1 hour sometime, but here is a continuous energy. And then we got excited, and now the whole hospital, it run on almost 15 kilowatt solar power. Even our ICU is on solar energy. We are going to start model immunization center, which is totally on solar. And in fact, 17 Anganwadi center in Bihar is now is totally on solar. So we need to talk to each other and understand our requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for giving that practical utilization that you have done over the last 1 year, and especially during COVID. I hope during my second round, you can actually tell your initiatives of COVID and how energy actually has played a role. So now let me turn to Gauriji. I mean, for people, I mean, Gauriji was the additional chief secretary of MP. Before that, joint secretary of MNRE, and now he's the deputy director general of IRENA, the International Renewable Energy Agency based out of Abu Dhabi, a multilateral. Gauriji, you sit at the table as the DDG of IRENA, which looks at international renewable energy, and you yourself have taken up the whole energy health nexus. Now, continuing to what Dr. Ravikant said, you see a great potential between the two continents, subcontinents, and how, from an energy multilateral, how are you looking at health and your own experiences a bit?
Thanks, Sarish, and thank you so much for having me on this panel, because I really think that the health energy nexus is really important and something that a lot of health administrators miss because they are so focused on providing solutions on the health side. But as we, and before I get into this, I mean, I just want to talk about as my time in as ACS Health and MP. I mean, I used to visit many of these very remote primary health centers and sub-health centers. And mostly, and I think Dr. Ravikant and others would know, that these get built where there is land that is available in a village. Often, this is the case that they would be built quite far away from the village. So, you have a public health center or a sub-center where you're expecting the A&M or the ASHAs and all to work, and nurses, of course, to also work. But you have them sometimes as far as 2-3 kilometers away from the main hamlet. And there, if you have a problem that you don't have the electrification reliability, then these can become almost dysfunctional. So what we do see is that you have nice buildings that have come up, and you have these sparkling equipment also that are there. But if you don't provide a solution which is a workable solution, so as to enable the health workers to stay there and to be able to do their duties 24/7, then the whole infrastructure actually doesn't come to much. And the conversations that we are having in India, I think at a level are much more advanced in terms of the conversations that are happening in a lot of other countries in Africa, or even the small island states. And it's important to get this whole narrative into the conversations that the policymakers in energy and health are having, because otherwise, as very clearly you said, we work in such silos that when you're in health, you think of only health solutions. When you're in energy, you think that energy is I mean, it's just that you think very differently. So energy is an enabler, and we all understand that renewable energy can only be an enabler and be something that services like health, livelihoods, and all can get built upon. So I think it's very important to talk across these segments and understand what the client needs. It's not about a supply-driven approach. And I also want to just very briefly also mention that there were number of community health centers that I visited where the doctors and the staff were very upset about the solar panels that had got placed on top, because they said our building has started leaking after that. So you also have these kind of things that happen if we don't apply the solutions looking into the kind of needs that are there, and we do it with some sensitivity. So it's not just just putting solar panels and thinking that it's the work has been done.
Thanks, Garuji, for that, for bringing that up. And I'll come back to you regarding the whole today. Everything that we talk, and especially in the energy sector, is always from a supply perspective and never from a hardly ever from a demand perspective. And that's why sometimes a decentralized renewable energy loses out. But now let me come to Neeraj Saab. Neeraj Jain is the head of PATH. He's the country director for India. He has worked. He has extensive 27+ years of experience. Neeraj Saab, you've had experience in both from malnutrition to waterborne problems, and then now you're the director of PATH. So you would be very much connected to what Dr. Ravikant said about nutrition and Anganwadis, but purely from PATH sector. How do you look at how did you look at Energy Nexus before, and how do you look at the Energy Health Nexus now that we need to have a partnership? Sir, your floor.
Yeah, thanks, Harish. Thank you for the question, and thanks, Bairak, for inviting me. Thanks, Manoj, for bringing us together. I think, a couple of things that I just want to point out. So, Raviji talked about Bihar, and, based on the last data that I have, about 56% of health facilities in Bihar don't have regular supply of electricity. Talking of Madhya Pradesh, the data I have says 35% still doesn't have access. And if you go into some of the other states, Jharkhand is 66%. So we've got a challenge. There's a challenge of energy being available at health centers. And again, like Raviji said, for me, I'd put Anganwadis and health centers together because actually both of them are providing health. In India, we have a separate ministry, so they get split, but actually it's all about health. The challenge, Harish, I think is, like you said, we've all been sort of living in our silos, not talking to each other. And that whole issue of leakages in health centers and how solar is being managed, etc., is a big challenge. So I think, we need to go back to the drawing board and design with more of a sensibility of bringing these two things together. Health is absolutely critical. And I won't go into the environmental impact of electricity and all of that and renewable energy because I think Mr. Shekhar has talked about that already. So I'm going to focus on two areas. One is we need to have renewable energy solutions at our health facilities, especially the far-flung ones, especially the ones which are hard to reach. It is absolutely critical that we have that available. And a few states have done a fairly good job in the recent past. I mean, Tripura being one, and I know you are part of some of that success, but Tripura being one, Assam being one, there's been some excellence that we've started seeing emerging, but that needs to really now multiply. The second area, and that's all off-grid clean energy solutions, and I won't talk about what that could be solar, could be whatever. But I think the second area that also we need to focus on is energy efficient medical devices. We go out there, we buy based on prices. We're not thinking about what is the energy consumption there. So our whole procurement process also needs to evolve to really give points for energy utilization or for solutions which don't need much energy. I mean, we worked with, for example, a hand cranked defibrillator from Jeeptronics. We worked with him, and they made a fantastic product which could actually really help and doesn't need energy. It's hand cranked. We've looked at Koyo Labs has done this whole product called SaaS, which is for support on respiratory illnesses. Very, very relevant for COVID. We've partnered with CCAMP on that, and again, brilliant product, doesn't need electricity. Made for rural India, so to say, or for far-flung areas. So I think two areas I'm gonna stop there because I know we are short on time. One is, of course, renewable energy, which run our centers. Maybe not 100%, but at least that augment and also uninterrupted availability of power. And the second is really energy-efficient devices and equipment that we're using. I'll stop there, Harish. Back to you.
Thanks, Neeraj, for bringing that up of energy efficiency. But actually, if you add building efficiency, the way the buildings are designed, the health centers are designed, and a lot of daylighting is not needed, and with good ventilation, you can actually go to 100% running on renewable energy. You don't have today, unfortunately, solar is designed in a manner that the building is badly designed, but then the solar takes the brunt. But I'm glad you brought in of efficiency, which is like from a design perspective. So now let me go to Professor Ambuj, who is the founding head of the School of Public Policy, and his as it says, his interests lie between the science, technology, and development, and he has worked in the space of a lot of, very, very relevant to us, from biofuels to coal power to automobiles. You had a little different take, Ambuj. The floor is yours on the whole Nexus.
Sure, Arish. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me here. You, Manoj, Bairak, very, very interesting discussion. So yes, I do. I'm not sure I have a different take, but I guess I'm going to maybe put a somewhat different perspective on some of these questions. I'm a policy person, and one of the things I keep on saying is that as one is thinking about the design of any program, one has to be very clear when I say program for public good, especially where public policy is involved. I think I always say that I think one has to be very clear on what the objectives are. And let me give a couple of examples to illustrate why, while we think that there's enormous synergies between energy and health in a positive way, why we need to be thoughtful in our approach. Let me start with the example of cook stoves, which people have talked about often. Improved cook stoves as a way to reduce household air pollution. And we know that household air pollution accounts for almost half of the health impacts from air pollution, which is a major part of the energy health nexus. I should say, I'm not going to talk about this, that the energy health nexus, of course, is much, much broader. There's health impacts of energy extraction, for example, and there's also the climate change as another part of the energy health nexus. So the fact is the energy health nexus is very broad. I'm going to use air pollution as only one way to examine this nexus, and how do you think about making better decisions at this nexus. So if I come to the example of improved cook stoves, which has been used in many fora, especially recently, there's been a resurgence on a focus on improved cook stoves as a way to improve human health by reducing the pollution from biomass burning in households. Actually, it turns out many of these improved cook stove designs do reduce air pollution, but do not reduce air pollution to the extent needed in order to provide the kind of health benefits that are needed from air pollution reductions, because the exposure-response relationship from air pollution is nonlinear. In other words, you have to reduce air pollution significantly in order to get the health benefits. So what we are finding is in many cases that we actually have programs that are driven ostensibly by health, but really driven more by climate concerns, because we are focused on reducing some of the air pollution from these cook stoves, which is climate benefits, but not enough that you actually get health benefits. So in fact, India's LPG program is, in a sense, a step in the right direction. And in fact, I'm smiling because actually Gauri and I worked way back when India was actually putting together the National Biomass Cook Stove and New Improved Biomass Cook Stove Initiative back in 2009. But anyway, so and now, of course, we realize that LPG is a much simpler, so to speak, way to provide clean fuel to people. But of course, climate activists talk about the fact that we want to move away from fossil fuels, and things like LPG are often being now treated as sinful. So the question really is, as I said, what's the objective? If it's a climate objective, we may take a very different pathway than if it's a health objective. And those tensions actually play out, this political economy plays out very differently, both within countries and across countries in the global policy space. So I think this is a very kind of an important thing for us to think about. I want to just give a second example, and then I'll stop. Renewables, right? I mean, renewables, everybody's talking about renewables today, correctly so. It's really a revolution that has happened in the last decade, and I think we are going to actually see a lot of countries moving towards renewables in a very big way. Now the question again is, as we think about renewables programs, what's the primary objective? If the primary objective is climate mitigation, I would actually posit that the renewables program is going to look very different if you're actually saying that a primary objective, or at least a key objective, is energy access and improvement of development objectives such as health. Because the rate at which you actually deploy your renewables and even the kinds of deployment programs will change depending on which one of these objectives is getting primacy. So in other words, I think I just want to kind of, I'll stop there by just highlighting the fact that I think the energy health nexus is complex. We can actually use different kinds of energy sources, energy devices in order to improve health outcomes, but we have to do it in very thoughtful ways. And in ways where actually, if, for example, if you're interested in health improvements, we want to put health objectives first and foremost, and at least design the programs from that perspective, the energy programs from that perspective. I'll stop with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ambuj, for bringing that perspective, because it also it's very nicely gets into introducing Ajay here. He's the assistant professor at Rollins School of Public Health, and he nicely fit into the whole environmental health. But Ajay, while speaking, Ajay, if you could also bring in what translating to what Ambuj said, and you have had your own experiences in the whole cook stove and you got in from the health side, and he told me some very interesting snippets about where energy guys should actually learn from the way you had your research much in this sector before. So over to you, Ajay.
Yeah, thanks very much. And can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so thanks, Ambuj and Harish, for the introduction. And I do approach this as a public health scientist, and so health then is the primary motivating factor here, though of course very interested in the energy issues. And so I think one of the things we think about in India, particularly as we've seen this massive transition towards LPG, is we've now provided that access, which is that critical first step in getting people connected to a clean energy source. But the next thing to do is, how do we get people to actually use the LPG and to transition to it fully? Like any other improved cooking technology, if you're using it part of the time, you're not getting the benefit from an exposure to air pollution standpoint. You're not actually reducing the air pollution sufficiently to accrue these health benefits. And so we have to apply some of that learning from public health about how we do the behavior change and how we reduce some of the barriers towards long-term clean energy usage. And I think, as we think about transitioning away from LPG to even cleaner sources, that same transition and those same behavior change messages are going to apply broadly. So these are not lessons we're going to learn once, but hopefully we learn them once and can apply them repeatedly. Otherwise, we'll continue to make the same kinds of mistakes. The second point I wanted to bring up is that the minister mentioned, massive attempts at transitioning urban areas towards natural gas infrastructure. And so what that can do is free up some more LPG that can then be moved into rural areas. And so, when we're thinking about this climate, health, and energy nexus, we're worried often about the climate implications of providing fossil fuels to rural areas. Now, from my perspective, I think that should be less of a concern. We're basically providing a floor of energy access to households for this fundamental and basic need, cooking, which should be clean. I don't think anyone would argue with that. You're trying to provide healthful food to the family members. You shouldn't be putting yourself at risk while doing that. And so by thinking about strategies that provide ways to relocate existing supply to rural areas, we can hopefully avoid some of these pitfalls and just optimize the existing supply to best provide healthful energy impacts. And then finally, just thinking about how households use energy, I think is really useful. And so some of the work we did early on in North India was evaluating deployment of a clean cooking technology, a Philips advanced biomass cook stove, at the time the cleanest available cook stove out there, to see how households used it. And what we found quickly, and what should have been obvious to us perhaps from the start, was that they used it as an appliance. So if you or I buy a new water boiler, well, we don't cook all of our food with that water boiler. We used it for the task of boiling water. And we saw the same thing in North India. People were using it for very specific tasks. It became an additional appliance. And their energy use actually, it looks like, went up. So they were using their traditional stove and this new stove. And so as we, again, think about these transitions, I think that usage is critical, and how we transition people away from their traditional stove towards the cleaner technologies fully, what we need to do to provide that full transition is going to be critical for providing healthful energy. So I'll stop there. I'm happy to talk more, of course, about these things. Thanks.
Thanks, Ajay. Thanks for bringing that. I'll come back to both you and Ambuj just after Laurel to actually close the loop on this whole air pollution, because Laurel, who is the vice president of LanzaTech, and LanzaTech is actually is pioneer in creating solutions that mitigate carbon emissions from anything else. I mean, they've been looking at high efficient aviation fuel to waste carbon streams, and they look at very, very large. And so I'm glad you're bringing that perspective, ma'am, onto this. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. This is a fascinating panel. I just want to listen because I'm learning so much from those who have very different experience than mine or the experience of our company. So this is very exciting. Thank you for having me here. So we come from an energy perspective and originally from a climate perspective. Our company uses what was referred to earlier by the Honorable Minister as biological carbon capture and utilization to extract carbon from waste emissions and from other waste carbon sources. And through a biological process called gas fermentation, we turn that into fuels and chemicals. So our focus coming in was to utilize waste carbon as an alternative to fossil sources, and therefore to reduce dependence on fossil energy, to reduce climate impacts. But in fact, when, for example, we are capturing carbon from steel mill emissions, we are also reducing local air pollution. So we have a plant operating today that has made 20 million gallons of clean ethanol, which is a cleaner burning fuel, but has made that directly from steel mill emissions, and has therefore captured all of what would have been a local air pollutant and turned it into this fuel. So in India, we are doing the same thing. Indian Oil is constructing a plant which will capture emissions from refinery waste streams, turn that into ethanol, which in itself reduces fossil dependence, but also when it's burned as a fuel, as a transport fuel, has lower emissions than its fossil equivalent, and which can be turned into plastics, completely avoiding the air pollution impacts. And when we look downstream, clearly we see a time when ethanol, for example, for light duty vehicles, it can be supplanted by electricity, by hydrogen, as you've heard today. But that same ethanol can be turned into sustainable aviation fuel, and we do that. We are commercializing that today. Again, when people think about sustainable aviation fuel, they primarily think about climate impacts. What people don't know is that what's called synthetic paraffinic kerosene, which is the primary type of sustainable aviation fuel that is actually available and authorized for commercial use, produces far fewer particulates when it is combusted than conventional petroleum jet. And in fact, the National Resources Council of Canada has flown a study using our synthetic paraffinic kerosene produced from ethanol that itself was produced from steel mill emissions. They have flown 2 planes, one burning the fuel to fly and the second instrumented to measure, and have shown that 95% fewer particulates are emitted during that flight. Now, that's way up in the air. We don't think about that in terms of air pollution, but actually airports and the combustion around airports is an example where there's a tremendous amount of particulates with health effects that are being produced just from normal airport operations. And so from our perspective, then we see the segue and the intersection is we clean up our sources of fuels and of chemicals, and in turn, we are turning pollution into products and cleaning up the air. So thank you.
Thanks for bringing the perspective from the large players and large technology. I'll come to you, Lauren, and to tie up between Ambuj, yourself, and Ajay. Ambuj, I mean, just to tell you, both of us have over the years lost our hair, working on the whole space of cook stoves and cook stoves. I'm sure we are all tired. And now, where do you think it's between you and Ajay? And then it's about where is the needle that we should push to move? Ultimately, we'll say, boss, it's solved. We know thousands of papers have been written, and we may classically make a joke that there are not enough cook stoves to burn the papers written, right? So how do we move the needle? Ajay and Ambuj, yeah.
Ajay, do you want to go first?
It's like a whole year's worth of conversation, or any more papers. And I'm working on losing my hair. So I do think there are a couple of approaches here, and Ambuj and our late colleague Professor Kirk Smith outlined them pretty well. I think the focus in India of late has definitely been on the LPG side and how we increase usage and make that push as equitable and far-reaching as possible. On the improved cook stove side, I'll say that I don't think we have done a good job treating any biomass cook stove as an energy service yet anywhere in the world. So, providing both the stove and reliable infrastructure and service to keep that stove running. And that might be related to fuel issues like providing pellets. I know that's been attempted broadly in a few places, but again, not as an as a reliable energy service of the kind that you or I would ever consider using. And I think we still run into the same issue of providing solutions that, as I said, you and I would not use in our own households because they're not reliable, because they're fussy, because they don't work in the way we would expect them to. So I think those are some challenges. One other quick comment is I think some of these off-grid, like a PV battery-powered induction stove are promising. Again, it has to be able to provide an energy service that people are willing to use. I'll throw it back to Ambuj, who probably has some broader thoughts there.
Yeah, thanks Ajay, and thanks Harish for that question. I think Harish, I think if I'll use the cook stoves example, but I think I would like to use that to illustrate the question more broadly, or the issue more broadly. I think if you're talking about improved cook stoves, I actually would like to bury them. Honestly, I think it is. When I say improved cook stove, I mean improved biomass cook stove, because I think in finding an improved biomass cook stove that gives you the health protection that is required, I think is a very difficult task. For multiple reasons, but more than anything else, because in the end, you are using those cook stoves in environments where people are going to be putting all different kinds of feedstock into it, whether you like it or not. And therefore, it is almost, think of it as a car where I'm actually saying I want to design a car where you can put anything into the petrol tank and you want it to still run properly, right? It doesn't work. The car works so well because the input is extremely standardized, right? And that's a very difficult ask with improved biomass cook stoves. Forget the burning part, which is also, burning solid biomass so that it's very clean is a very difficult cushion problem. So my own personal view, and this has evolved actually over the time, 10 years ago when, for example, as I was saying, when Gauri and I worked together, I think it's not maybe that it's technically impossible, but it's such a challenging issue that maybe we need to reorient ourselves and think about the new opportunities that are possible with renewables, with the extreme drop in renewable prices. And because as we think about scaling up renewables, in the end, storage is going to become necessary in the large scale use of renewables. Therefore, there is going to be a coming similar drop in energy storage prices and performance and improvement in performance. I think we need to start thinking about how to leverage those in order to build improved cooking solutions for poorer people or people who don't have easy access to the grid, where you can use renewables and storage in order to provide electric-based cooking for people. Now, the point is, whether for improved cook stoves or for these kind of solutions, we just don't invest the amounts of resources in science and technology needed to make the big breakthroughs, right? This is the kind of the poor stepchild. I mean, I wouldn't even say stepchild, it's a forgotten child of the whole energy space. And until we actually start saying the opportunities are there, but we need to invest the kinds of scientific and technological and social science resources in order to really crack this problem in the same way we're doing it, for example, for electric vehicles, where we're investing tens of billions of dollars, right? Electric vehicles are not going to solve the air pollution problem as much as clean cook stoves. Modern clean cook stoves that provide really clean cooking energy. And so these might not be, as I said, biomass, but maybe electric cook stoves, right? So the question is, I think the transition has to be towards these completely modern solutions that you and I would be happy to use in our homes, the same performance equivalents, but in a sense, investing the kind of science and technology and innovation capabilities to design something. And I think Neeraj talked about design, to design something that actually does the job. Right? And I think that really is the challenge. I think it's making sure that this is not forgotten in our march toward renewables that is driven mainly by climate change. I'll stop with that.
Thanks so much for that. I mean, to the organizers, can I have 5 more minutes to so that, because I have some critical questions.
I think Harish, this is Sangeeta, and so I'm from DPT. Very interesting talk. I think we should take 5-10 minutes for questions.
No, but I also have a couple of, because they.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, absolutely. Just I'll take one question, but just I want some ending thoughts from them, from the other, because there's some critical points they brought in. This is Lauren. I'll come to you once I do Neeraj and Gauriji for one, and then I'll come to you regarding a policy change that you have seen in when you're splitting large. Neeraj and Gauriji, when you talked about energy efficiency, for example, for health, one of the biggest barriers that we see is the certification, because we cannot, it's unlike other products, because health is involved. Would that take time in a sense and that means if high efficient medical devices take time to be approved, does it mean that we're going to push the deliverables a little later? Both Neeraj and Gauriji, who's been working in this with WHO on this.
Maybe I'll just do a quick one and then over to you, Gauriji. So I don't think so, Harish. I think it's just this whole idea of energy health nexus. This nexus needs to come together, and you just need to design and you need to measure. We've been designing stuff based on health outcomes and outputs, and the energy space has been going in its own sort of more focused on climate, etc. I think we just need to come together and design. And I gave you 2 examples of technologies from India where they have really focused on rural India and said we can do it. So no, I think it's a simple thing to do, and I would look at Dr. Renu Swarup, and say, ma'am, you need to drive this and make it a measurable indicator for new health innovations coming out of India.
So Harish, maybe I can just take forward the thoughts that Neeraj has put, and this is where a policy comes in, and that's when policy can drive the change that we want. So you will never have the health setup thinking or talking about energy, because that's just something they don't understand. And if there is, for example, a policy intervention that asks for the kind of star rating that the B had put forward for making procurement in the government system mandatory, that's probably the kind of system that needs to come into play. And I think having the Department of Biotechnology leading this would be extremely important, because they understand the medical equipment world like no one else does, and getting that kind of certification going is something that I think requires a policy intervention.
So to Laurel, and then to end off with Dr. Ravikant. Laurel, now you've seen people's Gauriji to Neeraj, everybody speaking about policy changes to happen. You while implementing some of the large stuff, which is the best example that you have approached that has actually led to implementation from your company perspective?
I'm sorry. Could you say the question again? I didn't quite understand it.
You're looking at large implementation of. I mean, your technology is based on so large capture, right? Where have you seen the best policy which has actually led to implementation of your technologies as far as Lancer Tech is concerned? Yeah.
Okay. So I think the most significant policy changes that have opened up the opportunity to make carbon capture into fuels, especially a reality, have been actually in India and in Europe. In both cases, the biofuels policies have been extended to include not just conventional biofuels from plant-based sources, but to include and recognize fuels that are coming from industrial emissions, as well as fuels that come from municipal waste, for example. So I think from my perspective, from a policy point of view, it is opening up the types of policies that are intended to incentivize new, cleaner, lower carbon alternatives to all possible technologies and all possible sources in order to get the best outcome. And I would say listening today has really highlighted to me that it would be valuable for those policies to include at least analysis of health effects. That it would be wonderful if on a policy level we could start at least highlighting and measuring the health benefits of some of the different avenues that we're pursuing on the energy side.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks for this. And now, finally, Dr. Ravikant, are you hopeful or dejected after hearing the panel and because you are leading the COVID? I know people who know Dr. Ravikant is putting up a lot of places where you could get injections. You can get your stab from, and you can get. I'll share his number to all of you if you're not getting online, sir. Your closing thoughts on your next steps as a health practitioner.
So I would say, sir, the one very important thing, last year at one point of the time, we were running 12 COVID hospital, and out of those 12, 2 were totally on solar. One in Masari village, Patna, and one is outskirts of Bangalore. It's called Anekal Taluka. So you can see that the need is everywhere. The most interesting part which I want to highlight is we need the solar energy, not just for like the solar sustainable thing. The one very important thing is the safety of our medical devices. Medical devices are very costly. If you take COVID, all the COVID testing machines are more than 15-16 lakh rupees, not less than that. And with solar energy or renewable energy, we get there is no fluctuation. In fact, if you study in Bihar or other places also, many of these rural places or even in urban area, all these high costly equipment are malfunctioning or non-functional because of voltage fluctuation. So if you ask me, Dr. Ravikant, which is the one part which is the most interesting, I would say that there is no voltage fluctuation. In fact, like it's like Apple the Mac laptop. When I purchase it because I don't have to worry about the viruses and purchase antiviruses. So similarly, if you ask me, the single most important thing is no fluctuation and the safety of our device. And as sir also mentioned, those who are manufacturing these devices, they should consider energy efficiency also. There are many functions which we don't need, so don't put unnecessary too many functions in the device. You only given me the example, like mobile phone. Mainly I use it for the calling or GPS or WhatsApp. Now even SMS is like just to receive the SMS. I hardly use. So, but there are too many, like more than 100 applications in this. So why we need all these things and burn the energy? So we have to seriously consider about manufacturing energy efficient devices. So this is my last input, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ravikant. What we are basically saying that don't put massage in dental chairs to make it more energy inefficient.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sangeeta, how do I leave it here? 7:09. I'm 9 minutes over. To you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All these thoughts are very important, and I think I would definitely we would be interacting more, and whatever recommendations are there, we would be happy to take care. And scaling is very important in this area. All these innovations we need to scale and deploy in the field. I just give one example. I recently passed, just a couple of weeks back, I had passed to the jaggery makers, and huge emissions are there, all these small entrepreneurs. So if we can replace all these in the UP sector, so these are very innovative solutions, and we can replace these cooking stores, smart cooking stores, with the traditional things. We can save lot of reduce lot of emissions. So this is one good example I'm just putting. Otherwise, very thank you and wonderful thoughts from all of you. And thank you, Harish, and all members, panelist members, for sharing your valuable thoughts. And we would be, Parek and DBT would be happy to take this forward for implementation. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
over to you, Nisha. Yeah, Parek.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I look forward to see you tomorrow.
Thank you.